All right, Alvin, tell us why that's happening.
Well, I don't know, but I watched a video about this guy who did acoustics, and he said that it makes that weird sound because the sound is hitting the building at slightly different times because of the stairs, and it comes back at you, and it's that weird time difference.
Because of how
like
the sound mixes when it's
fractions
coming
of a
back.
second. I think that's what he said.
Cool. It's pretty imposing from down here.
Yeah.
All right, so the next day,
that one was.
day 11,
That was not authentic.
was our travel day from Tulum. So we left Tulum in the morning,
Yeah.
and we drove about 2.5 hours to get to Chichen Itza. And we got there really early. Like, we got there pretty much when it opened.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit
Well, what
after.
happened was it was raining, so there weren't many people.
Yeah.
We got there, it was raining, and
Oh,
we
man.
were like, oh, this is like the only time we're here, though, so we're just going to go in. Even though it's raining, we'll just, you know.
It was not cheap to go to Chichen Itza, but thankfully they took a Visa card. But you pay both the state of Yucatan and you pay the federal government. You have to buy 2 separate tickets.
But
Chichen
raining
Itza is
when it was there.
enormous, so we didn't pack really.
big.
We didn't really have water. We didn't have food. So like even after like 2 hours of wandering
And there's
around,
nowhere to go to the bathroom in there? I
Yeah.
think there is when it's not COVID, but during COVID, the bathrooms were closed.
except
were inside.
for at the main
So you
gate.
could only leave and then have to repay to go back in.
Yeah.
So
So
that was weird.
Yeah.
And the vendors.
Oh, man.
There was like 5,000 people
There
standing
were-
next to you. Said $1, $1.
$1,
And
almost
then-
free.
Okay, so the funny thing
Almost
is, so this
free.
one guy.
Oh, you want to go get the
Mom was-
whistle?
Yeah,
No.
Yeah, grab it. It's right there.
Mom
So-
was walking by, and so this guy said $1, $1, and Mom just totally ignored him. And then he said, okay, $2.
Most of the vendors
Too cheap for you?
would say like
yeah.
$1, and then they'd go down like $50, and then almost free. But this guy went
10
up, which
pesos.
was hilarious. Everyone's like trying to get us to stop, which was
Oh, but
Hard.
sometimes
And they
it
all
was-
blow these whistles
yeah.
that sound like jaguars or birds.
It depends on if you play it right. They made it sound like a real jaguar.
yeah. Theirs were really good.
They got really
No, they were
at
good
it.
at it.
They're so good at it because they do it all day long. That's funny.
Yeah, the vendors were obnoxious, but I mean, they're just trying to make money, and
Yeah.
they're allowed to be there, so it's just part of experiencing Chichen Itza. But
And
it
that's
was,
a really hard time for them because
Yeah.
There's this
so
one guy,
few people.
and like, he was trying to sell us one of these, and then Dad was like, okay, we'll come back, and then he's like, they always say that, and they never come back.
I know. I felt so bad. I mean, if we had
And
gobs
you
of
didn't
money,
go back to that guy, did you?
no,
Were you a liar?
no.
Ah.
We couldn't go back.
Well, I mean,
Sorry,
we walked so much at Chichen Itza. Like it's huge. It's like it
Huge.
really you.
And we
you-
wanted to see everything, so it
Yeah.
was really far.
It was a lot.
one tic-tac-toe with my ancient relatives.
All right, so we got our Chichen Itza pizza.
And we hit the road for Progresso, which is a barrier island up on the northern coast of Yucatan, kind of like the Outer Banks here in North Carolina. Like, you know, it's a big tourist destination, and this area it's actually a bunch of, like, it has a bunch of names. It's a bunch of different little neighborhoods, I guess, or whatever. But we were staying in an area called Chicxulub.
Chicxulub.
And it's definitely like definitely feels like a beach town, but it also felt completely deserted. Like when we finally,
it was really happening about 20
years ago.
Yeah.
And that we were there out of season. Like it was clearly like not the time of year that people are there. Anyway, long drive, and then
same roads, giant potholes. You have no idea what you're driving into.
Okay, so the place right next to us was going under construction. So there are all these there's a bunch of men like banging and
it was crazy windy, as you'll see. We'll show you the video.
So much
So we
wind.
get to this place, and it was unfortunately just not clean, and it smelled so bad.
It smelled like rotting
and everything was just stale, and I think nobody
And
had been
mold.
there in a while. And there was a caretaker who lived in like a little building out by the garage, and he was like cleaning the pool and staring at us,
yeah,
like definitely like
so
staring at
awkward.
us through the
And
glass.
there was no
way
way
window
to
treatments
shut the,
at all.
Yeah.
We
So
couldn't.
he was just like out there.
We're trying to figure out. We're trying to eat food. Eileen was just like beside
Upside down.
herself. She
We're
wanted to
not
leave
sure.
right away, but we had nowhere else to go, and it was dark. It was getting dark. So anyway, we'll show you the video.
And
tour.
driving in, so like when you drive in, the road is basically level with water.
Yeah, so if the water rose at all, it seemed like the whole place would be underwater. It was
It was really crazy.
it was really crazy. It was cool to experience, but it was crazy.
Oh, we saw flamingos.
We got to see flamingos.
Yeah, that
real-
was
cool.
very
that was
cool.
Wow,
and,
flamingos.
That was super cool.
and giant wind turbines. What are they called? Windmills.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
we
cool.
spent that night finding
It was
the
pretty cool.
Airbnb
We
for our
slept
next
there.
night.
We slept there one night, and we found the next house, which was pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was
The
just
next
nice.
house was.
Yeah, so we'll show you the video of the place that we only stayed one night.
So from Progresso, we just decided to go to Merida and stay in Merida.
Which is so cool.
And it ended up being really cool. That's not something like we thought maybe we would go to Merida one day,
for,
but
like,
we
1
weren't
or
really
2
sure. But definitely we wanted to go to the Mayan ruins that were on the other side of Merida. So we were like, okay, that's fine. The Airbnb, like by the time we can get into it, we'll have time to go see the ruins and then go
check in at the
Airbnb.
Yeah.
So. Bzz, bzz, bzz.